Neighbors, an indie franchise best known for two things: physically impossible architecture and meat munching map pack. Don't worry, this video is gonna be about the first one. If you're like me, then you should go away because this is a whites only channel, and that you were a fan of Hello Neighbor when the alphas first dropped, but lost interest when the alphas kept dropping and getting worse, and then the full game came out and was somehow worse than the alphas. Then came the spin-offs, the books, alphas for the second, then it's look worse than the alphas when the first came. I don't know how that's fucking possible. And the show, for some reason, I don't know. Across these many different titles, Mr. Peterson, that's his name by the way, has acquired quite the collection of crypts. Oh, such a way with words. Though not all those homes held up, unfortunately, as the games dropped in quality, so did the map design for the most part. I'm gonna be ranking every house Mr. Peterson uses across the entire Hello Neighbor series. I won't be including houses not owned by Mr. Peterson himself, so that includes pretty much everything from Hello Neighbor 2. Also won't be going into the basements because, I don't know, each game handles the basement so differently. I feel like that should be like its own different video. But hey, if you want to see that, how about you tickle that like button? Also, another reason why I'm not going on Hello Neighbor 2 is because the houses are pretty meh to me. So most of them we've been ranking low on the list, so I don't know, there's just no point. Also, I don't own the game, and even if I did, I would not feel like playing through all this shit. So yeah, no Hello Neighbor 2. Sorry. One more thing before we get into the rankings though. I want to do a little bit of self-promotion.
Subscribe!
Niggas.
Hello Neighbor!
Hello Neighbor hide and seek. I don't even have a script for this one because I already knew this one was gonna be in last place. The game is like pretty cool when it comes to those maps. Like there's a bunch of different areas. When it comes to the actual house, the only time we really see it is in like quick cutscenes or like tutorial levels, or during that one level where it's like a shitty parkour thing. Both those times it wasn't really that interesting, or when it was like crazy, it was like annoying. I don't know, it was not a good house. I mean, if we're talking about the whole game when it comes to the maps, I would probably rank it higher up. Again, just doing Mr. Peterson's, so last place.
Hello Neighbor!
Bet you didn't know this one released. Good. The shit is ass. Like, everything about this game is really bad. The art style is shit. The gameplay is bad. You can't even play it on most good VR systems. I don't know why they made this. Especially the map though. Like, ew! This doesn't even look like Hello Neighbor. I don't know what they were doing. This low-key reminds me of like the movie tie-in games you used to make for like 2000s live action shit. It's so terrible. The only thing that's stopping it from being worse than hide and seek is that it's actually a, you know, a house for most of the game. But still, other than that, it's just complete garbage.
Hello Neighbor!
Yeah, if it wasn't obvious from the game pre-alpha, this was the start of the Hello Neighbor universe, and boy, was it a rough start. In the short time I played this for background footage, the game crashed twice, wouldn't start for 10 minutes, and completely soft locked me like a shit ton of times. But we're not here to talk about all those silly shitty game performance issues. We're here to talk about the house, and that is also equally, if not more, shitty. For starters, it doesn't have Mr. Skeeterson's crazy casa design. For starters, it's basically only one floor. I say basically because there is a second floor, you just can't access it because all the shizzle in the way. Yeah, I know it's just a pre-alpha, so I'm not expecting Shakespeare. That doesn't make fucking sense in this context. I don't know what I'm talking about. There's a reason why this wasn't a version of Hello Neighbor to take off. It has the beginnings of a Mr. Peterson house, but not the pizzazz the later games have. Like, yeah, there's quite a few ruins, especially with this only being a glorified tech demo. They're all small, void of anything useful, and really just filled with copy paste assets. Again, I can't give it too much shit with it being just a tech demo, but I also can't give it too much or pretty much any praise, so it's going in bottom tier.
Hello Neighbor!
Well, I'm not a fan of the full release of Hello Neighbor. There's no but, I'm just not a fan. The maps are alright though. I like how they're all scaled up, either that or you're below 5'6", so basically not human. Oh, I think you're a child in this game. It makes the house seem more big and expansive without giving it like 50 floors. The house in Hello Neighbor 1 changes quite a bit between acts, so I'll be ranking each one differently. The Act 1 house reminds me a lot of a mix between a pre-alpha and like alpha 3. I don't know, I mean it's fine. I don't expect much since it's just a start for the full game. I like how it has a sweet succulent second floor. I also like this Mr. Peabody bowling ball invention, that's pretty rad. I don't know, not much to say about this one. Is literally made to be kind of basic so it can get more crazy later, but it does being basic pretty well, so good job Mr. Peter Senpai.
Hello Neighbor!
Alpha 3 was the start of the downfall for Hello Neighbor games, but it was also the start of the downfall for the houses. Well, Kinda. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I know a big point of criticism for Hello Neighbor is that the houses are too crazy and confusing. And while yes, I see their point, I personally prefer it like this. I don't know, something's just fun to me about seeing an abomination that looks like something little retard Reggie made in creative mode. With all that said and done, Alpha 3 is still kind of meh to me. It re-adds a bunch of my personal favorite features from the first alpha, like the train and the multiple floors, but it also adds a bunch of not so stellar shit like this fucking windmill. I hate it. It looks so tacky and stupid. I know it looks so tacky and stupid. I know I said I like crazy shit, but it's just out of nowhere and it makes the whole place look like this country bumpkin nut house. Alpha 3 is the start of the overly dark era houses that I don't fuck with too much. It's not used well, only here to hide missing textures. The first floor is almost completely useless. There are mannequins everywhere for cheap scares. Actually, that's what this whole map feels like to me, trying to get cheap scares out of you. It's like Hello Neighbor, but emo. Highlights include there's a gate that I don't like. There's like this god-awful jump thing that everyone got pissed off over. And I'm not gonna lie, this one doesn't do a lot besides be big and spooky, and it doesn't do either that well. So next one.
Hello, neighbor.
This one's fat. Like, it's too wide, and I get it, it's a multiplayer, lots of silly sigmas in one environment, but I don't know, it doesn't feel like a Mr. Trick-or-Treaters in house. It feels like an ooh, spooky mansion. It doesn't help the fact that the game is dark as shit, and it doesn't add to the scariness in any way. It's just dark, and I hate niggers. I'm just fucking with you. I actually really like the dark aspect. I just threw that in there for giggles and shits. The house does have multiple floors, so of course that helps it a ton, and there is still some cuckoo rooms, like the train's still there. There's this neat green room. I guess, I don't know, it definitely has the vibe of a Hello Neighbor house. The large map for the multiplayer aspect kind of holds it back for me. A good Hello Neighbor house should have a good mix of cramped and open spaces. Also, the puzzles in this one are kind of weak, but it's a multiplayer, so I guess it gets a pass. I don't know. And they could have had more unique ways to get to the basement besides just keys though. All in all, it's a great house, just not the best P.D. Peterson has to offer.
Hello, neighbor.
Alpha 2. The last good version of Hello Neighbor. The Alpha 2 house is vastly different from the majority of the houses in the series, since it goes for a small and modern approach. This actually works in the house's favor, because while I do prefer having a shitload of different floors and crazy shit, the smaller, more cozy approach makes for a more lived-in, real-feeling house, making the game feel more like a cool break-in simulator instead of, evil basement man has kidnapped little kids, we gotta go save them. And while yes, I do see why people love this house, since the puzzles were a lot more clear and easy to complete. His neighbor's AI was at its absolute peak. For me personally, I still like things wild, so that stops Alpha 2 from being in my top ranks. The highlights of the Alpha 2 house are the random hospital bed, the secret moving wall, the hole in the roof, the tour room, I don't know, it just looks neat. Backyard shell, well, the whole backyard is actually kind of cool. House is just nice, nothing too crazy, but also nothing too bad. Unfortunately though, that makes it just mid to me, so next one.
Hello, neighbor.
Okay, I know I clowned the windmill during Alpha 3, but I don't know, this one kind of worked for me. What can I say? I'm a special little guy. A mansion without being a big, fat, wide mansion. This is probably when Hello Neighbor leaned into the craziness the most, for better and for worse. Mostly for worse for the gameplay. For the map, on the other hand, it's not complete shizzle. I'm not gonna go into much detail for this one because it doesn't really do anything different. The highlights are pretty much the same, you know, the train and all that other cool shit is still there. This is when the house started becoming one house with a bunch of rooms stitched on top, and I don't know, I'm iffy on it. I like the idea of the house being normal and then slowly going insane. It's just the execution that irks me. Like, most of these are just bland boxes besides the game mechanics awkwardly placed there. I mean, I like it, I just think it needed more time to bake.
Hello, neighbor.
Alpha 1. This is the blueprint for all Hello Neighbor houses. This is what put Mr. Suck My Meterson on the map. This isn't as amazing as I remember looking back on it, I'm gonna be honest. Don't get me wrong, it's still good, still better than the most because you know it's in third, but like when I was planning this video, I was fully expecting this to be first, but nostalgia definitely had me thinking I was finna walk into Drake's mansion. Maybe I still am. This nigga looks like he visits high schools. Okay, let's go over the good. Multi-story to my monkey brain is at ease. The Alpha 1 house manages to draw a fine line between crazy shit and being slightly creepy, well as creepy as you can be with the AI bugging 24/7. The house has a a garage, a kitchen, a living room, an upstairs shark pool, a shooting range, a classroom, you know, normal house shit. The shark pool is depth the most memorable part of this map for me. I remember as a kid being stuck on this part forever because I didn't know you could just freeze the water. Of course I was playing the Roblox version because I didn't have a PC, but still good times. Of course I was playing the Roblox version because I didn't have a PC, but you know, still good times. Can't wait to see how the shark shows up in later alphas. This part only makes sense if I was going in release order. Don't know what the fuck I was talking about. These more special rooms are great in adding variety because, you know, it's a fucking upstairs shark pool. That's something your neighbor next door doesn't have. I will admit though, there is a lot of filler rooms, which I get it. You need that so it takes longer to find the shit you need to break into the basement. It just feels like there's too many though. Also, this is more because of the mechanics, but you move so fast while sprinting, you're able to like blitz across the whole map. It's like, Alpha 1, despite its flaws, is still the golden standard for Hello Neighbor houses. Like, come on, there's a fucking train. Well, there's a train in every house pretty much. But still, this is the house that piqued my original interest for Hello Neighbor, and I can say it's the same for others. Well, that and the really intuitive and impressive AI. Anyways, after this house in Alpha 2, I feel like the game quality kept slipping, so just like my self-confidence in middle school, my interest in the game just faded away.
Hello, neighbor.
Whoa, god damn. Act 2 house is different that you're trying to break out instead of in. Meaning there's this giant ass fence keeping you from cheesing the neighbor by going across the street. This makes the map feel big and cray while also being cramped like you're trapped. Another highlight of the Act 2 house is that there's 3 different escape routes, and there's more items, shit for you to collect, and things for you to do, making each room feel useful for some type of ending. House highlights include the big ass trampoline you use for the trampoline escape, a quiet little dollhouse, a quiet little grave you gotta deface, just a bunch of goofy cutesy shit like that. The pipe puzzle is neat. I like how it spans across the whole map. They also really nailed the art style in this game, so even the rooms that are pretty useless just look mid at worst. The map just takes all the good shit from previous alphas and reworks them to be better, but it's not the best. No, my sweet summer child, there's still one more house left.
Hello, neighbor.
Here we have it, the Big Bertha, the Texas Lamb, the Smash Ultimate of Hello Neighbor houses. It's Hello Neighbor 1 Act 3. I can't be too loud, it's like 5 a.m. Remember I said the last one brings the best parts of every house together? Act 3 does that and then more. A bunch of more shit, but in a good way. It keeps all the plus sides of the last 2 acts I mentioned being bigger and having sick decorations. Act 3 returns you back to the Hello Neighbor form of trying to break into the house instead of out of it. While yeah, I like the change of Act 2 with you breaking out, I think there's no beating the classic, hey, let me completely invade your personal space just because I got a little bit curious. Highlights include the gel thing, this pretty painting puzzle, so many floors, like it's everywhere, multiple houses mashed into one, but like in a good way, not like how chapter 3 does it. They brought back the fucking train and made it longer. There's crazy interiors, infuriating puzzles, basically everything you can ask for in a Mr. Smell Your Feet or Sin house. This house, it's perfect. Too bad it's dragged down by shitty gameplay, brain-numbing puzzles, and code that breaks more than your mother's back whenever I come to visit. Hey! Welcome to the end of the video. I really want to say thank you for watching to the end. It really warms this old boy's heart. Anyways, hope you liked it. I don't know, I'm still trying to get the whole video essay thing down, but if you made it this far, how about you press that subscribe button? I know you heard Gog say it earlier. I think you should listen to Gog. Gog thing's coming up. You don't want to get on Gog's backside. Anyways, see you in the next one. Probably gonna be a FNAF video, and then I'll make a video on like, I got a comment suggestion on this one game called like Repo or some shit. I don't know, I'll check it out maybe. Bye-bye!